What a long, strange trip it has been for Melissa. Let's give you the very latest. But as we dive into that, let's also talk about where it's been. If you follow this line here, it shows you just the path it has been. It's been very convoluted, but right now it's led us to this. Winds of 70 miles per hour moving west-northwest at 1 mile an hour. This thing is barely moving. I mean, it is just barely hovering there. Location 160 miles southeast of Kingston, Jamaica. At this hour, we do have hurricane watches, tropical storm warnings in effect for portions of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. You'll notice across the peninsula, all of Jamaica with a hurricane warning. And with this, we can anticipate possibly the movement to the west that eventually going to the northeast over the next several days and into early next week. Water temperatures are just boiling out there. I mean, all things considered, you're talking a water let's see, in the 80s, mid 80s to some upper 80s. Yeah, that's pretty intense. If we were to basically take a sample of the water, notice water temperatures at the surface above 85, but then you go under 250 feet, it's still into the 80s. I mean, imagine taking a dive into a lake, possibly where you happen to live. You go a few feet down, you can definitely feel the coolness. Well, in this situation, it is plenty warm, hundreds of feet down, which is just pure octane fuel for the storm to really intensify, and that is what we do anticipate. Also, wind shear, which would hamper the development, is well to the north. It is out of the way. So this is going to be in an incubation zone where it's going to be able to percolate, form as it tracks over this deep water, and then it is expected to be shoved a bit more towards Jamaica and then eventually go off to eastern Cuba. And then we'll notice up towards the Turks and Caicos by early next week. But notice how the wind field happens to be now. And then notice, are we going to see it expand? Do we ever? And although we follow that center of circulation, remember, this has got some really wide arms. And one of those wide arms, that wind field is going to be pushing a lot of the wind, the water, widespread power outages. Flooding is certainly going to be possible. Surge is going to be an issue. Many things to follow in the coming hours and days. Molly?
Notice you don't ever see a landfall in Haiti, but just the impacts of, again, not a point on a map, this is an entire system, and that means a lot of rainfall for the Tiburon Peninsula here in Haiti. A couple of different models I want to show you, starting with the European model, where that puts a bullseye of over 2 feet of rain in Haiti. And there's actually a lot of elevation here on the peninsula, not to mention there's a high elevation on the eastern side of Jamaica, where the European model also wants to put a bullseye of over 2 feet of rain. Now you're talking landslides, mudslides, big problems. The American model is similar. It doesn't quite put that heavy rain in areas like Jamaica, but it actually puts more of the heavier rain in parts of the peninsula, the Tiburon Peninsula there in Haiti. So just a catastrophic forecast when you look at it in regards that mudslides, landslides. There's already been 3 deaths in Haiti, and we haven't even seen the worst of the storm yet. This is expected to rapidly intensify, still slow motion on the next couple of days as this moves towards Jamaica. Landfall Monday into Tuesday. That's still a couple of days from now. That's more days that we're going to see a stronger system, eventually a Category 4 hurricane in the Caribbean Sea. All of that rain in the meantime is falling in places like Haiti and Jamaica. Storm surge potential, and of course the winds in Jamaica too. Second landfall potential there in Cuba by midweek of the upcoming week. And then down the line, we'll have to watch areas in the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos very closely. But the focus right now is the forecast for areas like Jamaica. This is a look at the American model, where it has slightly different solution there than the European model, where it doesn't quite make that landfall. It goes in between Jamaica and Haiti, and then up through areas like Cuba, and of course eventually down the line in the Turks and Caicos. So still some details to work out, but Reynolds, those models, most of them are honing in on Jamaica as a major hurricane.
That is certainly the case.